Good morning. Today we discuss the second session from microwave spectroscopy. Here we discuss the rotational spectrum of rigid diatomic molecule. A diatomic molecule may be considered as a rigid rotator consisting of two atoms having masses m1 and m2 connected by a rigid bond of length r. Here we consider a diatomic molecule with two atoms having masses m1 and m2 having a bond length of small r. Look at the figure. Here in the figure, the point G is the center of gravity of the diatomic molecule and r is the bond length, and here the distance r1 and r2 is denoted, and the r1 is the distance to the mass m1 from the center of gravity, and r2 is the distance to the mass m2 from the center of gravity. Consider the rotation of this rigid rotor about an axis perpendicular to its molecular axis and passing through the center of gravity. We consider the rotation of this rigid rotor about an axis passing through its molecular axis and passing here we consider the rotation of this rigid rotor about an axis perpendicular to its molecular axis and passing through the center of gravity. So here we have to consider some physical quantities. First is the moment of inertia of this when the rotor rotating about the particular axis. As the axis passing through the center of gravity, the masses are placed at distance r1 and r2. Then we know that the moment of inertia must be summation I. The general expression is summation I mi ri square. Here there are two masses, then it must be equal to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square. Okay, and here also we know that G is the center of gravity. If it is the center of gravity, then the moment or the torque or we can say that the principle of moments say that the clockwise moment must be equal to the anti-clockwise moment. Here the about this point to the mass m1, there is anti-clockwise moment, and for m2 clockwise moment. Okay, because if it is placed in gravitational field, the force acting on m1 must be downward and m2 also be downward. So if it is acting this way, then it is, if it is rotating like this, it is acting downward, or it must be clockwise direction, and for m1 it is anti-clockwise direction. So we can express the clockwise moment must be equal to anti-clockwise moment, or we write m1 r1 must be equal to m2 r2. And the bond length r is equal to r1 plus r2. Okay. So here we considering the diatomic molecule and consider it as a rigid rotor. They consisting two masses. So it is a two body problem. Then our aim is to reduce this two body problem into one body problem. Just check it. First we take the moment of inertia, that is we expressed as I is equal to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square, and using the principle of moments, m1 r1 is equal to m2 r2, and the bond length r is equal to r1 plus r2. Okay, then using m1 r1 is equal to m2 r2 and r is equal to r1 plus r2, we can write, just look at here, we write m1 r1 is equal to m2 r2. Okay, so here we have to obtain an expression for r1 in terms of masses and bond length. Okay, so we write, we have to express r2 in terms of r and r1. Then r2 is equal to, I write here m1 r1 is equal to m2 into r minus r1. Then taking the m2 minus m2 r1 left side and taking r1 common, then m1 plus m2 into r1 is equal to what? m2r, or r1 is equal to m2r divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, in the similar way, to obtain the expression of r2, we substitute m1 r minus R2 is equal to M2 R2. Okay, then M1 R must be equal to R2 into M1 plus M2. Then R2 is equal to M1 R divided by M1 plus M2. Okay, so we write R1 is equal to M2R divided by M1 plus M2, and R2 is equal to M1R divided by M1 plus M2. Now we reduce the expression of moment of inertia. Okay, for that we take the expression of moment of inertia that is written as, look at here, we write M1 R1 into R1. R1 square is equal to R1 into R1, and here our expression is M2 R2 R2. From here we can write first expression must be I is equal to M1 R1 R1 plus M2 R2 R2. But here M2 R2 is equal to what? M2 R2 is equal to M1 R1. So here we write M1 R1 into R2. Then we take M1 R1 common. M1 R1 into R1 plus R2. Okay. Then what is R1 plus R2? R1 plus R2 is equal to R. Then we write M1 R1 into R. Then we substitute for R1. R1 is equal to what? Here we know that R1 is equal to M2R divided by M1 plus M2. So we write this way, I is equal to M1 into what is R1? M2 R divided by M1 plus M2 into R. Then it is R square. Then the expression is M1 M2 divided by M1 plus M2 into R square, or we write it is equal to mu R square. Then what is mu? Mu is equal to M1 M2 divided by M1 plus M2, and it is that quantity is called as, the mu is called as, it is the reduced, it is called as reduced mass. It is called as the reduced mass of the molecule. Okay, then we simply represented I is equal to mu R square. So the moment of inertia of the rigid rotor is I is equal to mu R square, where mu is the reduced mass that is given by M1 M2 divided by M1 plus M2. Okay, and R is the bond length. Okay, then to obtain its energy, how can we obtain the energy of such a rigid rotator? In the microscopic case, we use the quantum mechanics. So using Schrodinger equation, we can obtain the energy of a rigid rotor. So the solution for the Schrodinger equation for the rigid rotor gives the energy eigenvalues. Okay. Ej is equal to h cross square divided by 2i j into j plus 1 joules. Here j is what? J is the rotational quantum number. J is the rotational quantum number. It is 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay. So the energy, you must memorize this equation. No derivation is required. Okay. To obtain, or there is no need to solve the Schrodinger equation for rigid rotor. Only you have to memorize this equation, or Ej. The energy eigenvalue is given by Ej is equal to h cross square divided by 2i j into j plus 1 joules, where I is the moment of inertia of rigid rotor, that is equal to I is equal to mu r square. Okay. Then we know that in spectroscopy, we can express the energy in terms of wave number. Okay. So for expressing in terms of wave number is 1 by lambda centimeter inverse. To obtain this quantity, we know that energy is equal to Sc divided by lambda. Okay. From this quantity, how can we obtain 1 by lambda? So 1 by lambda must be equal to E divided by Hc. So dividing the energy in joule by Hc, we will get 1 by lambda, or it is the energy in centimeter inverse. Okay. In wave number. Okay. Then we write in wave number units, epsilon j is equal to Ej divided by Hc, or that is equal to what is h cross? H cross is h divided by 2 pi. Okay. Then h cross square. That means h cross square means h square divided by 4 pi square. Then here the Hc in denominator. So h square, we know that the step is I write here, we know that Ej is equal to h square divided by 8 4 pi square into 2i. Then 8 pi square I into j plus 1. Okay. Then Ej is equal to what? Epsilon j is equal to this divided by h square divided by 8 pi square I h into j plus 1. Okay. Then we cancel 1h. Then the remaining quantity h divided by 8 pi square IC into j plus 1. Here we represent it is equal to b into j plus 1. Then what is b? B is equal to h divided by 8 pi square IC. It is known as the rotational. It is known as the rotational constant. It is in centimeters. Then the value of B must be in joule. What will be the value? H square divided by the rotational constant B in joules must be equal to H square divided by 8 pi square I. Okay. Denoting the lower state by J double dash and the upper state by J dash, we evaluate the variation in energies. Here the upper state is J dash and the lower state is J double dash. So we know that what is the expression of EJ? EJ is equal to B into J plus 1. Then what will be epsilon J dash? It must be equal to B into J dash plus 1. What will be epsilon J double dash? B into J double dash into J double dash plus 1. Here we have to obtain the difference between these two. Here one important point is we assume the rotational constant is same for all levels. Okay, here we assume that the rotational constant is same for all levels. So we write in this way, then delta EJ is equal to this one. Then this corresponding to what? A photon of energy H. Okay. So delta EJ is equal to this quantity. Then using the selection rule, we know that the selection rule for rotational spectroscopy is equal to what? We know that delta J plus or minus 1. Okay. Here we take delta J plus 1, or it is for absorption. Okay. So delta J plus 1 means J minus J double dash is equal to 1. J minus, sorry, J dash minus J double dash is equal to 1. So how can we simplify the above expression? Okay. Here we can represent delta J is equal to plus 1, or that means delta J means the difference is J values or J dash. It is the upper one. J dash minus J double dash is equal to 1, or we can write J dash is equal to J double dash plus 1. Okay. So we change the value of J dash in this equation. We substitute for the values of J dash. In place of J dash, we substitute J double dash plus 1. So B into J double dash plus 1 into J double dash plus 2 minus J double dash into J double dash plus 1. The same quantity here. Okay. So this energy difference corresponding for this frequency line. Okay. So when we manipulating this quantity, here we take the transition is from J double dash to J, or here we take J double dash is J and J dash is equal to J plus 1. Okay. So in this equation, we write it is equal to, this equation can be simplified as, how can we simplify it? Okay, we simplified it when we taking J double dash plus 1 outside common, then J double dash plus 2 minus J double dash. So J double dash cancels, then it is equal to 2 into B into J double dash plus 1. And here J double dash is equal to J, then it is equal to 2B into J plus 1. So if a transition is taking place from a level J to adjacent level J plus 1, the frequency line corresponding to that transition must be equal to 2B into J plus 1, where J is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay. Here also we mentioned that the rotational constant B is assumed to be constant, assumed to be the same for both lower and upper rotational state. And the double prime is dropped from the equation, or we write nu J bar is equal to 2B into J plus 1, where J is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Now we can draw a spectrum using this concept. For that, we assume we know that nu bar is equal to what? 2B into J plus 1. Okay. So if the transition is from 0 to 1, 0 to 1, then J value is equal to 0. Then it is equal to nu bar is equal to, I write the values of nu bar from here. Then it is equal to J is equal to 0. Then it is equal to nu bar is equal to B. Next, the transition is from 1 to 2. 1 to 2 means J is equal to 1. Then 2B into 1 plus 1, it is equal to 2. Then it is 4B. And when 2 to 3, then it is 2 plus 3, 6B. And when 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 3 plus 1, it is 4. 4 into 2, 8. Next, from 4 to 5, 4 plus 1, 5, then it is 10B. Okay. Then the transition or the lines appears at 2B, 6B, 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B, etc. This is the thus a series of spectral lines with wave number values 2B, 4B, 6B centimeter is expected for the rotational spectrum for a rigid atomic molecule. Then the separation between two adjacent line. Look at here, any two adjacent line, it is 2b. 2b and 4b, then the difference is 2b. 4b and 6b, the difference is 2b. Then 10b and 8b, the difference is 2b. Okay, then the separation between two adjacent line is 2b. Then the value of b can be deduced from the spacing between the observed spectra. Okay. And from the expression of rotational constant, the internuclear distance of the diatomic molecule can be obtained. Just look at the figure. Okay. When we analyzing or when we obtaining a rotational spectra, it is some like this one. Okay. This is the rotational spectra. We get only some lines. Okay. Then there must be some scale. Then using this scale, we can evaluate this difference. Then this must be separation between any two adjacent line. Here in this figure, it is labeled as 2b, 4b, but in an actual spectrum, we get only some lines. So there is no writing below, just consider two lines. Let it be some n and it must be equal to next line. So if it is nb, what will be this quantity? It is n plus 2 into b. Then the difference is 2b. Okay. Then when we measuring this difference from the graph, we will get, when we measuring the separation, we will get the value of b. Okay. Then obtaining the value of b, we know that the expression of b is equal to s square divided by 8 pi square I. H is a constant. Then we can obtain the value of moment of inertia. From this, we get moment of inertia. From this spectrum, we obtain b and all the other quantities are constant. Then we obtain I. But I is equal to mu r square. Mu is the mass, then it is known to us. Then the bond length can be measured. So using rotational spectroscopy, we can obtain the some properties about the diatomic molecules, such as bond length. Okay. Next is the isotope effect in an rotational spectrum. The previous topic and this topic are important. The previous topic was the rotational spectrum of a rigid diatomic molecule, and it is the isotope effect in a rotational spectra. It is very simple and it will be a sure question in exam. Okay. Then the isotope effect. What is isotope? Same atomic number and different mass. So when an atom is replaced by one of its isotope, the interbond distance remains the same as the electron charge distribution does not change. In the case of isotope, what quantity changes? The number of neutrons changes. So this change only occurs at its nucleus. Then there is no change in its bond length. Okay, only mass changes. Okay, however, the change in mass, the mass of the nucleus changes, then it leads to a change in moment of inertia. Okay, this change in moment of inertia changes the rotational constant, because we know that B is equal to h square divided by 8 pi square I. So moment of inertia changes, then B changes. Okay, then what changes occur in B? So due to the variation of B, rotational constant, the rotational energy will change, because the rotational energy Ej is equal to what? 2B into J plus 1. So it changes. And the energy value is, it is not this one. The energy is Ej is equal to B into J into J plus 1. And here delta Ej is equal to 2B into J plus 1. So it is a separation and it is the energy. So as the value of B changes, the energy changes and the separation also changes. This is the isotope effect in the rotational spectra. Then there must be uh, variation in the position of spectral lines. It can be mathematically proved. Okay. Here we denoting the frequency of the isotopically substituted molecule by single prime. Okay. So here we write nu bar as the isotopically substituted molecule. Then nu bar is equal to 2b bar, sorry, 2b dash j plus 1. Then the change in frequency nu bar minus nu bar dash, that is equal to, that is equal to 2b into j plus 1 minus 2b dash into j plus 1. So I write here 2 into j plus 1 b minus b dash, or we write 2 into j plus 1 h divided by 8 pi square ic into 1 minus I by I dash. And I by I dash is equal to what? Mu by mu dash, or that is equal to, let it be, that is equal to rho square, some quantity square. Here we know that I by I dash is equal to mu by mu dash, let it be rho square. Then delta nu, it is equal to 2 into j plus 1 into b into 1 minus rho square. It is the value of b, h divided by 8 pi square ic. Okay, that is equal to, then delta nu is equal to 2 into j plus 1 into b into 1 minus rho square. If rho square is if the rho square is less than 1. Okay. And there is a mass increase. Okay. If there is a increase in mass, if there is a mass increase, mu dash must be greater than mu. Okay. If the mass increases, the reduced mass must increase, mu dash must be greater than mu, then mu by mu dash will be, as mu dash is greater, it must be less than 1. Then rho square must be less than 1. Then what happened? Then what happened? It is equal to, if it is less than 1, it is a positive quantity. 1 minus rho square is a positive quantity. Then delta mu giving a positive quantity. It means the frequency change is positive. Then there must be some increase in the positions of different lines corresponding to each J. Okay. Let us check the example of carbon monoxide. Consider the two isotopes of carbon monoxides as carbon 12 and carbon 13. Okay. The effect of carbon 13 isotope substitution on the rotational spectrum of diatomic molecule carbon 12 is shown below. Okay. So there is a shift in levels, and this shift increases when the J value increases. Okay. So this measurement of shift allows us to determine the atomic weights of atom precisely. Okay. And from the observed spectra of carbon 12, oxygen 16, and carbon 13, oxygen 16, the atomic weight of the isotope carbon 13 is estimated to be 13.007, which is within 0.02% of the best value obtained by the other method. So the isotope effect can be used to obtain the masses of different isotope. So I stop here the second session of the microwave spectroscopy. Thank you.